JP Morosi on the inside corner here to class up this show, and not a moment too soon, my friend. You're laughing because you know it's true. Good morning, by the way. Don't laugh. Spoke with Byron Buxton a few weeks ago, JP. He was so darn excited about this year, said his body feels great. It's a mild hip strain for him. Can he play through it? What's the word?
Lauren, good morning. The hope is with the Minnesota Twins right now, according to MLB.com, is that Buxton will not have to go on the injured list because of this minor hip issue that he's experiencing right now. So that is very good news indeed. Again, the hope is that he will not have to go on the IL. Hopefully he'll be able to play again in the next several days, according to acting manager Jace Tingler, which is incredibly encouraging news for the Twins because, as Carlos Correa said in Tyler Kepner's story in yesterday's New York Times, I want to get this quote correct. Correa called Buxton the best player in the world right now. Those are the words from Carlos Correa himself. The numbers, you see it there, certainly affirm that alongside Taylor Ward, who we'll speak about in a moment. But the Minnesota Twins right now, Lauren, the largest division lead of any team in the American League right now. Surprising, of course, the rotation has been very encouraging on what they've seen, but it's really been Buxton driving this offense. The catalyst, the power has been there. Just a dynamic player in center field, and the hope right now, Lauren, is that the Twins will have him back in the next several days.
Buxton said he hates needles, but he has to have acupuncture, so he's dealing with it. Hope to see him soon. Taylor Ward, you saw that board. He was second on that list, leading off, going off. As Robert likes to say, there's so much to like about the Angels, and he's near the top of that list, JP.
He really is, Lauren. Taylor Ward's such a fun story because he was drafted in the first round by the Angels 7 years ago. Initially, the idea was he was going to be a catcher, and then he moved to the infield. And now he's playing right field alongside Mike Trout. And I think it's just a great story about perseverance for him. A great athlete who, according to some draft experts at the time, they weren't really sure that he was going to be a first-round pick. The Angels loved his athleticism, though. It just took a little bit of time for him to get there from Fresno State. And you think about the difference in age comparison. He's basically only 2 or 3 years younger than Trout, so very close in age to Trout. But it's just taken some extra time for him to establish himself now as an everyday player in the major leagues. And you look at his numbers, and we saw the graphic a moment ago, if you actually take a different look and look at adjusted OPS, so OPS plus, he actually leads the major leagues among all players with at least 70 at-bats already this season. That is how great Taylor Ward has been, again, batting leadoff, and it's remarkable. If you actually go and look, average on-base slugging OPS, his numbers and Trout's numbers, they're almost the same right now, so that they effectively have two players playing like Trout. One of them is named Taylor Ward. He's leading off playing right field. He was a hero of our showcase game last week at Fenway Park. So the Angels, for so many reasons, Lauren, they, I believe, will break that long playoff drought this season.
He's establishing himself, and we're paying full attention, JP. It is the beginning of May. We're not in the business of overreacting, but the Red Sox are at the bottom of the AL East. Not being able to close out winnable games has to be near the top of the list in terms of problems. How do they remedy it all moving forward?
Lauren, that's an excellent question. I think we're going to be having a lot of conversations on Central in the weeks ahead about where the Red Sox go specifically at the trade deadline, because when you consider how far they are back right now, double-digit deficit. Yes, double digits already, 10 games back in the AL East. So it's not just the length of the deficit, but it's the quality of the teams they would have to pass to move up the standings. This is not a division in which you can get off to a slow start and then make it all up and win the division. You can't do that. So I think one question that we're all going to have in the weeks ahead, and because part of the issue, of course, has been the bullpen, lack of closing games out. They just put Michael Walker on the IL yesterday. Chris Sale's return is very much in question. You start to ask yourself, is there a credible path for them to get back into this race in the next 6 weeks? Candidly, Lauren, I'm starting to doubt that. And if that's the case, you have to think about the possibility of putting Xander Bogaerts on the trade market. I know no Red Sox fan wants to hear this.
Now wait a minute.
But listen. Let me finish. He has the opt-out after this season. And so because you have not come anywhere close to signing an extension with Xander Bogaerts in spring training. You are far apart, according to multiple reports. If you are far apart on an extension for Bogaerts, and you get to the trade deadline, and you're still 10, 12 games back. When you look at how the Red Sox have handled past circumstances, John Lester, I realize it was a different GM at the time. Mookie Betts, same GM, a couple off seasons ago. When you look at the Red Sox history, if they're not close to an extension with Bogaerts, and if he is trending towards opting out, which John Heyman and others have reported is the case, how do you not at least explore that? You have to at least gauge that interest, and as hard as it is for all of us to think about, it has to be a real possibility right now for the Red Sox.
Wow, maybe we will play this back in August and laugh. Still time, JP,
We'll see.
before you go. Yes, we will. Robinson Cano, no longer a Met. Where will he land? Tell me, what do you know?
Well, a couple options, and honestly, one of them could be the Red Sox. As hard as it is to consider the longtime Yankee playing for the Red Sox, Cano's bat actually could fit for the Boston Red Sox. They have not had a lot of production at first base. They could even add some production potentially in the DH spot right now for the Boston Red Sox. One more team I would mention, the Miami Marlins. They're a team that I think has really gone under the radar as being a tremendously competitive team in the NL East that might want to get one more bat there to help add in. But it's certainly Billy Epler, on the day the Mets let Cano go or DFA'd him, he said to me, we believe he'll play in the major league somewhere. And when you think about someone who can maybe be that veteran to come into a ball club, help give them some calmness, I would mention those teams. The other one that's interesting that struggled a bit offensively and might help to have some veteran leadership actually is this old team, the Mariners. I don't quite see that happening right now, but I think that's one more possibility to watch. I really think that with the issues, Lauren, that a number of teams have had offensively, there will be a place for Robinson Cano somewhere in the major league. So I know I kind of gave a lot to you this morning. This to me, I know that the Bogaerts note really got a big reaction on the panel there, but We'll have to see how that plays out over the weeks ahead.
Robert hates you, but that's okay. It's just one of
Sorry,
three
Robert.
of us. No big deal. JP Morosi, the best on the Inside Corner. Thanks so much.